Hello everyone, JRR here, and I would like to cover narratives. Now, let me explain what I mean by narratives. When a group decides that they want to push a specific narrative, they will go out of their way to seem cult-like, and they will omit facts for the sake of pushing said narrative. A good example of this would definitely be the Nina Sarkeesian thing. I've done the whole devil's advocate part to show that not looking at the situation as a narrative, but looking at just her initial goal, the tropes against women and whatnot, just looking at it as a basic thing, I was able to come up with something a little bit better footed than she did. But again, when you're going with narratives, it is very easy to be blinded, especially with terminology. And I have seen this with many people. I've had people tell me that I'm too dark to be white, and I'm too white to be black. Literally, I am too white to be black and too black to be white. I'm the center of the road. I'm just brown. I'm not black enough for watermelon. I'm not white enough for honeydew. I get me some cantaloupe. I'm good to go. Anyway, that's kind of their whole thing. So when they push their narrative, it always comes back to, oh, you're not black enough to understand this. Oh, you're not white enough to see our side of this. Here's the problem. When you start pushing narratives and such, you blind yourself. And this goes to everybody. You blind yourself. You start using words out of context. I'm not racist because I'm white. No, motherfucker. That term by itself means you're racist. The term, that sentence, like I said in one of the jokes, that sentence, by default, turns you racist. I don't care if you're black, white, green, purple, orange, Cthulhu. Don't care. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a guy. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're Bruce Wayne. I don't care if you're the Flash. I don't care if you're Green Lantern. I don't care if you're Goku. I don't care if you're Superman. I don't give a fuck who or what you are. If you use that line. I am not racist because I am this. I am not sexist because I am that. Then you are. Sorry. I don't care who you are. I could be your biggest fan in the world, and you say that line, and I'm still going to call you on that shit. And I always do, because that's what it is. But people, when they are pushing a narrative, they don't see this. And when they use that line, they don't notice that that line is exactly like the old school line, which everyone called racist. I'm not trying to be racist, but... And then the next sentence happens to be the most racist shit you've ever heard in your life. There is literally no difference between that kind of statement and the prior statements. None. But again, when you're pushing a narrative, you have to omit things. You have to just delete facts from your own site. You have to pretty much consider it like a cult and drop all sorts of data just so you feel like you're superior. And this is why when I argue or debate or have any type of discussion and try to push discussions with people, I push for facts. When you start bringing race into it, you're not bringing in facts. You've lost. You have completely lost. Because all you're doing now is just focusing on race. You're pretty much saying, I'm not going to listen to you because you're not my color. That's it. White, black, green, purple, orange, other. Doesn't matter. That is the sentence you are saying, no matter who is arguing with who. Sorry. When Panther decided to say Meninist, I'm not here to deal with your Meninist statements. I'm like, no, I just used what the post said and pointed out what the post said. What the hell? But once she said Meninist, that told me right from the get-go, oh wait, she's not going to listen to this argument because it's not an argument anymore. She's already shut down her brain to the discussion. She's not taking any information in. She's gone to the I'm right, period. Unfortunately, this happens with a lot of YouTubers, especially when they have a lot of subscribers. They feel they cannot be wrong. Angry Joe is another one. He will sit there and he'll defend Nina Sarkeesian to the bitter end, even though if he thought about it, he would see how wrong it is. again, you're pushing narratives, and when you're pushing narratives, you start dropping your standards. You start omitting things. You start looking at facts and going, nope, I don't like that. Doesn't count to me. Get it away. Go on. Shoo. Poof. Be gone. Now, I understand that narratives have a different perspective. I do. You're the third rock from the sun. Yeah, the way your narrative is pushing, we're like, what, sixth rock from Pluto? You see, there's different perspectives, and I understand the perspective thing. I do. I get the perspectives. Fine. But when you start bringing in people's sex, religion, race, family, when you start bringing in all these other facts that have nothing to do with the discussion at hand, you're no longer trying to do the discussion, you're trying to deflect. You're trying to turn and steer the conversation away because your narrative is starting to get shaken with facts. The reason why I like debating with people is if they can keep up, I actually get to see other sides of things. And I will even, if I'm wrong, I will eventually say, hey, I'm wrong. That's why I do devil's advocate stuff. I have no problem doing it. I like looking at both perspectives as best I can with the information I have. I don't like using false information, so I keep looking around for good, solid information that I can use. Simple as that. If you cannot provide me with good information, then I cannot agree with you. And yes, I did say Panzer because she was the only one that actually lost her crap on it. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I brought in Mundane Matt. Because I looked at the post and I saw where the flaw came in. So I asked Mundane Matt because he had a video where he looked at it and pretty much saw a similar flaw. And I'm trying to figure out what is going on. And after I reviewed the discussion and after I reviewed the whole situation, what I found was pretty much the whole TLDR thing. Too long, didn't read. Because they're trying to push a narrative, they immediately stopped when they got what they wanted. That was it. Everything else in the whole post doesn't matter. Does not matter. The post itself does not matter anymore. They got what they wanted for their narrative. That's all that counts. And they'll use that, and they'll tell you, you need to go read that post. Which is why I got so eager to throw it back in people's faces when they said, you should go read. I go, yeah, I did. I read the entire post. I didn't stop because I went, oh, there's what they're talking about. There's the thing right there. It's talking about the pose. Yeah, I saw that. I saw exactly where that was. No problem. I'm with it. And if the post would have stopped right there, it would have been fine. I would have been like, hey, you know what? It's about the pose. It's not about that ass. My bad. Sorry. Thanks for pointing it out. But no. It went on 3 additional paragraphs after, where it's talking about how Blizzard has no problem turning their characters into sex symbols. How their kid always wakes up and wants to see the trailer and wants to see the video with Tracer because they know who Tracer is and they want to grow up with Tracer and all that. You see, you brought your kid, when someone brings in their kid as a shield, they're not going anymore to that. If the original poster would have literally, if they would have stopped their thing after the pose doesn't fit the character. The pose itself doesn't seem right. She seemed a little bit more arrogant with her back to the camera, facing over her shoulder. She seemed a little bit more arrogant than she should. It's not her style. It's not her way of being happy, bubbly, whatever. Is there a way we can fix that? If they said it like that and stopped it, boom, argument over, Panzer 1, RR0. Fine. But that's not what happened. Panzer and her group kept telling me, read the post. Read the post. And then I read the post. I read the entire post. And those other 3 paragraphs destroyed the first whole compliment sandwich. It pretty much made the whole top part of the bun soggy and made it taste nasty. And then it's like, well, here we are with rotten meat in the middle. What? Come on. Panzer, you're smarter than this. Come on. You can see where people are coming from, right? You can see why people are saying it's the ass. And a couple other people are starting to say it too. It's like, oh wow, you still see the ass. Just work with it. Yes, Blizzard replied sorely, or very poorly, but come on, Panzer, lady, you're sharper than this. I know you are. Now, you probably look back at it after a moment and went, oh, okay, I see where he's coming from after he pointed it out. But again, when you're pushing a narrative, you don't look at facts. You just push that narrative. That goes to everybody. Panzer's not the only one. I know it sounds like I'm calling her out, but she's not the only one. Monday Matt was calling out pretty much the ass thing. I asked about the ass because it looked like it was still accenting the ass. And then everyone kept saying, read the post, so I looked at the post again, and, well, it went back to, Blizzard has no problem turning him into a sex object. What? Why is that even in the line? Why is that even here? If it's about the pose, just shut up about it. If it's about the pose, then just be done after the pose. That would have been it. Would have been fine. But no, you kept pushing. Oh, Lord. Now, am I saying Monday Matt's right? Don't know. Am I saying Panzer's right? Don't know. They each had a different perspective from one post. That is the point of this video. From one post, you can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different perspectives. And people will crash right in the center. And they will argue over the 2 different perspectives. One will take one part of it and bow to it, and bow hard. And the others will take the other part and bow to it, and bow hard. And this is where problems come in. This is why narratives are a problem. I've had arguments on Facebook. A guy pretty much was arguing back and forth with me. We had discussion. We're doing good. A normal discussion, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then he brings in race. Just brings in race. And I'm like, wait, what? What does that have to what does that have to do with anything at all? And then my wife said something, and then he brings in her race. Again, it has nothing to do with the discussion at hand. Oh, you've been tainted by the white woman. It doesn't change the fact that 1 + 1 = 2. You're telling me that 2 + 2 = chair. And I'm asking you, why does 2 + 2 = chair if 1 + 1 = 2? And your excuse is, because I'm married to a white woman. Wow. That's a leap. I mean, I've seen Mega Man make jumps harder than that, but wow, human leaps. Narratives. When you're pushing one, you gotta push it. Screw facts, push a narrative. And I've never understood that. At least in religion, they have pretty much a source book. And yes, their source books may have a lot of hypocritical things in it, but they at least have a source book. They at least have something to go by. They at least have a hard file that they can go, hey, this is where I'm coming from with this logic. Boom, it's right here. Doesn't matter that the logic is all sorts of wrong and incorrect, no matter what the book is. That doesn't matter. The fact remains that it's in their hand. They have it. They can literally bring the book out and be like, here it is. Their narratives, they have a book. They have a book for their narratives. They have it in their hand. They can use it to defend themselves against, quote, any argument. And that is where my problem comes in with all these people and their narratives. Because they just go. They don't have any type of files. They don't have any type of data. Now, the reason why I like, say, Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot goes after Anita's videos. And he points out things with facts. Sargon of Akkad, he points out things with facts. He brings up articles that have happened. They bring up data. They have scientific data. They have basic data. They use facts. Shoe on Head uses facts. And like I said, I'm a big person on facts. If you can show me facts, you have my support. 100%. You have my support. Even the guy that I argued with on Facebook, I didn't unfriend him. I thought about it, but I didn't unfriend him because it's just an argument. It's just a discussion, and he pretty much lost the discussion. But I understood that he has a narrative he's trying to push. That's the thing. When you understand people are trying to push narratives, then you can understand, okay, they're mad because it's a narrative. To them, their narrative is their religion. And if you question it, they get mad. You know that whole saying, there's certain things you don't talk about on the internet? Religion. What's the other ones? But pretty much, religion is a big one. Religion and politics, top two, you don't talk about. Because it causes fights. Because guess what? Religion and politics, that's all narratives are. That's all they are. Like the whole Anita Sarkeesian thing. People get mad at Anita Sarkeesian. No, she's using false information. Yeah, I know she's using false information. She's pushing a narrative. Thunderfoot's already beaten her down with freaking facts. That's why I side with Thunderfoot, not Anita. There's facts versus whatever she's saying. No facts at all. Just swinging. Swinging at the ghost. Swinging away. Well, there's tropes there's tropes in movies too. In fact, the damsel in distress is a trope from movies that got added into games. Hell, I even pointed it out to people in Dead or Alive, the original one. The damsel in distress was Hayate, a male, who was being rescued by a female, his sister Kasumi. It happens both ways. Sorry to be bearer of bad news and ruin more narratives, but it happens. I know, Spoonie said Dead or Alive doesn't have a story, and far be it from me to go against any YouTuber. But the case and point being, I look for things. I look for stories. I look for facts. That's what I do. Do I always put the facts up on my videos? No. I pretty much tell you where I find it. It's like, hey, you can look it up on the internet easy. That's where I ran across it. And I know the normal statement. Not everything on the internet is true. That's why I double check and triple check it. And if I really was going to sit there and just post all the evidence I found, then I'd just be repeating stuff like from Thunderfoot, from Sargon, from Shoe on Head, from Armored Skeptic. I'd just be repeating those guys. I don't see the point in doing that. That's an echo chamber. There's no point. I go based off of the information I know and I'm aware of. And that's why I always say, well, 90% of the time I try to say, that at the bottom of my video in the comments, if you have a point of discussion for it, by all means, please add it. I would love to discuss it. Now, there's a difference between discussion and arguing. If you have facts and say, hey, this, okay, I'll go look that up. I'll go see where you're coming from with it and see how much of a contradictory it is to mine. Simple as that. A good example for me, for narratives, was my whole rant against Brian Griffin. When Brian Griffin died, everybody and their brother decided to make a montage. Oh, Brian, we miss you. Oh, my God, why'd you take Brian from us? Ah. Meanwhile, I'm one of the only motherfuckers on YouTube who sat there and went, he's a cartoon dog. His voice actor ain't dead. He'll be back. Seriously, why are y'all freaking out? He will be back. Relax. I haven't seen such butthurt about a dog dying since ever. Hell, Bertram got killed. Lois got killed. The only reason why y'all didn't throw a fit was because, well, one was an antagonist to Stewie, because, you know, killing babies. Hey, it's okay. We have baby jokes nowadays. Oh, humanity, why? And then the reason why it was no problem with Lois was because it happened to be a dream sequence. And yeah, that was a cop-out, and no one liked that idea either. But the fact remains, when I went after Brian, I could tell the narratives. You can easily see the narratives immediately from people. In fact, I like to use Seth MacFarlane himself as the narrative. What he said before Brian died was the fact that some of his writers caught wind from The Simpsons that they were going to kill a beloved character. So, to save the South Park incident of Simpsons did it, to save that from happening to them, they decided to preempt the killing. They were going to kill one of their beloved characters. You know, because you don't want the Simpsons did it thing to hit you in the face. So what did they do? Well, Seth MacFarlane voices at least 3 characters. Brian, Stewie, Peter. And I've gone over this over the whole Brian Griffin is Dead video. But he lost nothing. He lost nothing. Brian died. Okay. So what? To him, it's literally, so what? Well, the time machine was gone. So what? He has writers. Is he really going to let his own self-insert die in his show? No. He's not going to let it stay down. He's not. And it was proven by 2 to 3 episodes later where Brian came back. Or was saved, sorry. So, again, turned out I was right. I was right before I was... It's sad. I was right. I was right. I want to be mad at that, but I was right. But people came at me. And did they argue about the points I made about Brian Griffin? No, not even a little. The only person who came even remotely close said he was representative of America's Dog. That was the only person that came remotely close. One person's like, your video just sucks. What's this got to do with any of the points I made in the video? Nothing. He just wanted to attack something else. Doesn't help. You did not add anything to the conversation. Your comment, null and void. You need to stop cussing. That's fine. What's that got to do with the discussion at hand? 1 + 1 = 2. You're telling me 2 + 2 = George Washington. You're not helping. Has nothing to do with the conversation. Poof, you're gone. And of course, there's others. None of them brought anything close to what that one guy did, and he brought up Brian Griffin represented America's Dog or represented America. I can't remember which one. So I asked him, give me examples. I would like you to give me examples. Because I could tear it apart right now. I can tear it apart easily. But just give me examples. I don't want to beat you down, but I want you to give me examples. I want you to like build your momentum. Because if I go like right from there, if I went at him, it would have been over. And it was pretty much over before I even went after him. But I wanted him to actually bring up points. Because there was probably a point that he would have brought up that I wouldn't have even thought about, and it would have pretty much held enough of a basis to where I go, okay, you have a good point there. But he didn't continue. He just kind of dropped it. He's like, okay, never mind. But that's my point. My narrative was, I don't give a damn that Brian Griffin died. My narrative pretty much was laser focused. It was pretty much, I know he's going to come back. I know he died because it's a PR stunt. That is it. Of course, I made a joke saying that's actually to get his friend into the business because, you know, that accent that the dog had was horrible. I mean, there's cartoon accents and then there's Yosemite Sam level, and that's Yosemite Sam level. I digress. That whole story pretty much pointed out narratives. And when people disagree with a narrative, if they don't come at the narrative with facts, it's easy to dismiss. Like I just said. You're talking about my video, but you're not saying anything about the question at hand. Poof, be gone. It's just that simple. That's how people with narratives actually work. And yes, that does say that, yes, I do use narratives. I'm not saying I'm immune to it. Unlike you organics, who are like, oh, I'm not using a narrative. I'm just saying black people are superior to white. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Well, that's why the white people keep us black folks down, because we're superior. Wait, dude, what, where, what, why, how, what, when, what, why, where is this coming from? Now I turn around, there's Anita Sarkeesian. Women are superior to men because men are always violent. What type of, what? I usually get headaches from people being stupid, and I'm getting this on 2 levels? Come on. Humanity, come on. One of you I know has intelligence, and you know better. You're just letting your narrative run you. You have fallen to the dark side. The other one has always been driven by narrative, so no shock there. So her level of stupidity did not bother me. It's like, yeah, I already knew you were going to say that crap. You think you think women always get along with each other because women never argue with each other, like ever. Again, I know a roleplay group who are supposed to get along fine. Mostly women. Yeah, they get along fine. Right. I knew a group of guys who got along fine. Right. Fine. Sure. Anyway, that's my point. And I know I said it's supposed to be a quickie, but like I said, if you know how my videos work, within the first 10 minutes, you got the whole premise of the video. So just stop after 10 minutes and you get the idea. Narratives suck. If you're outside the narrative and you're trying to attack the narrative, come hard with facts. I said come hard with facts. Okay, bad jokes. I have been up way too long if my brain's going that route and it's just not leaving the gutter. Holy crap. Anyway, if you go after narratives with solid facts. Will that mean you're going to win the argument? No. Look at Thunderfoot. He still has to put up with Anita's crap and Anita's followers. Because even though he uses basic logic against her videos, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. This also goes with supporters of your narrative. Make sure the supporters of your narrative have, I guess, a hand in the cookie jar, a say in the fight, a foot out of the grave, they have more than 2 eggs in the basket, things of that nature. Because in the Anita case, she's just pretty much, her narrative is just telling women, hey, video games are bad and they suck. And she's telling this to women who don't play games. So of course they're going to throw money at her. You're right, they're all sexist. Oh my god, thank you for telling us what we already believe. Oh, thank you. That's her narrative. Video games are sexist. And we need to get rid of them. Pretty much. Or change them. And you know this is her narrative because she tried to make a game and everyone's like, whatever. It's not because she made a game. No, it's because she took all the tropes that she said were bad and she threw them in that game. Oops. I guess if you're going with a narrative, you might want to actually write your narrative down and have it in a book or a folder or something so you don't kind of do that, you know? Just putting that out there. Just saying. But again, like I said, I have faith in people. I do. Like I said, Panzer was blinded by her narrative. She had a narrative. She wanted to push that narrative. She got blinded by it. It happens to every organic. Guy on Facebook, same thing. He had a narrative. He wanted to push narrative. Got blinded by it. Anita has narrative. Wanted to push narrative. Got blinded by it. Hillary Clinton, she has narrative. She's trying to push narrative. So she got blinded by it. So she, of course, is saying contradictory stuff. Trump, he has a narrative. That's a push narrative. He got blinded by it. You see the pattern. Whenever people put out a narrative, if you don't have any type of facts to defend or stop that narrative, they will be blinded by it and they will run with it. For those of you who play stuff like League of Legends and things like that, picture Scion using his ult. That's his narrative. He runs straight. He believes everyone's a coward and they're going to run from him. And he runs straight. You can steer him a little bit. Sure, you can steer him. But he's going to run. He's going to run straight. His narrative is holding. He's going to run straight until something stops him. Either he stops himself, he hits somebody, or he hits a building. That's it. That's the only 3 things that are going to stop him. Or it runs out, which technically he means to stop himself. But that's the point. That's a narrative. Okay? When people go with narratives, they stick to that like a Bible. And they will follow that like it's a religion. And that's why I follow people who use facts. I like facts. If you are pushing a narrative and you have solid facts that tell me otherwise, that this is a narrative that makes sense, I'm with you. I can go with that. I'm with you. Full on. You tell me Beyonce is the best singer in the world, and you turn around and you show me all her awards and such, and somehow she has a Nobel Peace Prize or 2, you know what? I cannot even argue with that. If she has 2 Nobel Peace Prizes and has all these acclaims and whatnot, I cannot argue. Sorry. If all her records are topping charts all the time, I can't argue with that. That's straight up facts. Even if I like her music or not, I can't argue with facts. And that's how I work. So if you do not have facts and you're pushing a narrative, you may want to double check and find some good, solid facts and go with it. And make sure your facts are covered on all angles. This is called being defensive. If you've seen 300 and you recognize that little shell at the end that they made, all the shields being up and everyone's covered, except for, of course, King Leonidas, but that little shell that I have is pretty much 100% defensive. It's the, oh crap, we're screwed, but nothing's getting in here until we break this posture. That's what you want your narrative to be. You want your narrative to be shielded on all sides, not from stupidity, but from facts. If your facts can shield your narrative from all sides, then your narrative will hold more than enough water, and you won't even have to attack people's religion, race, gender, narratives, or anything like that. You can just sit there and look at them and be like, so you're telling me 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 1 plus 1 equals 2, but now you're trying to come at what I just said about 1 plus 1 equals 2, and you're trying to tell me that if I mix blue and red, I get vanilla green. Where did you even come up with that? You want to be the one that can actually look at people's incoming statements and whatnot and be like, where are you coming from? Not even having to deal with their race or whatever. You don't even have to worry about that. You just look at them and be like, did you get this from the same source I got? Here's my source. Boom. And that's why I like pointing out the Panzer argument that I had, because she said, read the post. And I brought up the very post that she read and pointed out that there's 3 other paragraphs. And that's where my confusion comes in. And even when she said, no, it's about the pose, I even said during the argument, or during the initial debate, I even said, okay, that's where you're at. I'm okay with it. I know where you're at now. I see where you came from. I'm good. I'm all right. When I initially said that, I was done with it. I was done with the discussion. I saw where she was coming from. There's no point in pushing it. I saw where she was coming from. I saw she read most of the post and just stopped when it suited that part of the conversation, that part of the narrative. Okay, I got it. No problem. I'm not going to touch it. We're done here. And then her little fans and whatnot started hammering a fan of hers, which was me, hi, telling me to reread and all that, and I don't know any better, so I decided to go, okay, y'all asked for it. And then I reread and went down past the part where it would suit her narrative. So, what can you take away from this demi-rant about narratives? If you have a narrative, get facts to defend it from all sides. And then you won't have to worry about your narrative being attacked, because you will have facts to back you up. Not false facts, actual facts. Now we can do this, organics. We can do this. I have faith in you. Go out. Get your facts. Defend your narratives. But by all means, don't leave an opening. If there's a place for an opening, find facts to cover it. And if you don't, I'll find them. Or I'll tear your narrative open. Like I always do. I always do.